She's here. You have no idea how much she loves teachers.
Hollywood has always been obsessed with celebrity relationships. Every date is photographed. Every breakup becomes breaking news. Every engagement sparks weeks of headlines, social media debates, and endless speculation. For decades, fans have watched some of the world's biggest couples fall in love just as quickly as they fall apart. In an industry where privacy is almost impossible to maintain, every famous romance eventually seems to become public property. But somehow, one couple managed to do something that even Hollywood couldn't explain. Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes never became the celebrity couple constantly posing for magazine covers. They rarely walked red carpets together. They almost never spoke publicly about each other. They avoided turning their relationship into a publicity campaign, even while both of them remained among Hollywood's biggest stars. Yet despite all the rumors, constant paparazzi attention, and years of public curiosity, they quietly built one of the strongest relationships in the entertainment industry. So how did two of Hollywood's most recognizable faces keep such a huge part of their lives hidden for so many years? And what really happened behind the scenes while the rest of the world was trying to figure them out? To understand that, we have to go back to a time before anyone had ever imagined their names would be mentioned together. By the late 2000s, Ryan Gosling had become one of Hollywood's fastest rising actors. After unforgettable performances in films like The Notebook, Half Nelson, Drive, and Blue Valentine, he had earned a reputation for being incredibly selective about his roles. Unlike many celebrities chasing constant media attention, Ryan was known for keeping interviews focused on his work rather than his personal life. Fans admired him not only for his talent, but also for the mystery that seemed to surround him. The less he shared, the more people wanted to know. Eva Mendes had already built an impressive career of her own long before Ryan entered her life. She had appeared in successful films including Training Day, Too Fast, Too Furious, Hitch, and Ghost Rider, becoming one of Hollywood's most recognizable actresses throughout the 2000s. Beyond acting, Eva developed a reputation for her confidence, humor, and willingness to speak honestly during interviews. While she enjoyed the spotlight more than Ryan did, she also understood the pressure that came with living under constant public attention. At first glance, they didn't seem like an obvious match. Ryan was often described as quiet, thoughtful, and intensely private. Eva, meanwhile, had spent years comfortably navigating Hollywood premieres, talk shows, and magazine interviews. Their careers occasionally crossed paths within the same industry, but their personal lives remained completely separate. Then, in 2011, everything changed. Both actors signed on to star in The Place Beyond the Pines, a crime drama directed by Derek Cianfrance. The film explored complicated relationships, family, sacrifice, and the consequences of life's biggest decisions. Ironically, while audiences would eventually watch them portray characters connected by family on screen, something much more unexpected was beginning to happen behind the cameras. During months of filming, Ryan and Eva spent long days working together on emotionally demanding scenes. Cast and crew members later described the atmosphere as deeply collaborative, with both actors fully committed to their performances. There was no flashy Hollywood romance making headlines at the time. In fact, almost nobody outside the production had any reason to believe that one of Hollywood's most talked about relationships was quietly beginning to take shape. And when the first rumors finally surfaced, they didn't come from a glamorous red carpet or a carefully planned announcement. They came from something far more ordinary: a trip to one of the happiest places on Earth. For months after filming The Place Beyond the Pines, Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes managed to keep whatever was happening between them completely out of the public eye. In Hollywood, that almost never happens. Movie sets are filled with hundreds of people: actors, assistants, makeup artists, photographers, producers, and news about celebrity relationships usually leaks long before anyone intends it to. But somehow, they stayed under the radar. Then, in September 2011, everything changed with just a handful of photographs. The two were spotted spending the day together at Disneyland. At first glance, it didn't seem like a major story. Celebrities visit Disneyland all the time, but these photos were different. Ryan and Eva weren't attending a movie premiere or promoting a project. They were simply enjoying each other's company, walking through the park, laughing together, holding hands, and looking surprisingly comfortable away from the cameras. Within hours, those images spread across entertainment websites around the world. Headlines immediately began asking the same question: was Hollywood's newest power couple hiding in plain sight? Fans couldn't believe it. Ryan Gosling had long been considered one of Hollywood's most eligible bachelors, and for years, the internet had paired him with nearly every actress he worked alongside. Eva Mendes, meanwhile, had built her own successful career and was no stranger to dating rumors herself. But no one had seriously predicted these two would end up together. Their relationship seemed to appear almost overnight. Naturally, reporters wanted answers. Every interview suddenly included questions about the rumored romance. Entertainment shows speculated daily about whether the relationship was real or simply another Hollywood publicity story connected to their upcoming film. Paparazzi began following them more aggressively, hoping to capture more evidence. Fans expected the couple to confirm everything during a red carpet appearance or a television interview, but that moment never came. Instead of doing what so many celebrity couples do, posing together for magazine covers, sharing romantic stories during interviews, or turning their relationship into part of their public image, Ryan and Eva did the exact opposite. They simply stayed quiet. The silence only made people more curious. The fewer answers they gave, the more attention they received. Every public sighting became front-page entertainment news. If they were photographed having dinner together, it became a headline. If months passed without seeing them together, rumors immediately started suggesting they had secretly broken up. It seemed like no matter what they did, someone was trying to write the next chapter of their relationship for them. But behind the scenes, Ryan and Eva had already made an important decision. They weren't going to let Hollywood define how their relationship worked. Over the years, both of them had watched countless celebrity romances unfold under constant public pressure. They had seen relationships become marketing campaigns, private moments become tabloid headlines, and ordinary disagreements transformed into international gossip. Instead of chasing publicity, they chose something almost unheard of in modern Hollywood. They created boundaries. Ryan rarely discussed his personal life in interviews, and Eva followed the same approach. Whenever reporters tried steering conversations toward their relationship, she often redirected the focus back to her work or politely declined to share private details. It wasn't because they had something to hide. It was because they believed that not everything needed to belong to the public. Ironically, that decision only increased their popularity as a couple. Fans became fascinated by the mystery. Online forums constantly analyzed every paparazzi photo, every award show appearance, and every interview, searching for clues about what was really happening behind closed doors. Some people even questioned whether the relationship was genuine because they appeared together so rarely in public. Others admired them for refusing to turn their love life into entertainment. But while the world continued guessing, Ryan and Eva were quietly preparing for something that would change both of their lives forever. And when that news finally became public, it surprised almost everyone, including many of Hollywood's biggest reporters. By 2014, Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes had already spent several years proving that they weren't interested in living their relationship the way Hollywood expected them to. While other celebrity couples were making headlines with glamorous vacations, joint interviews, and carefully staged red carpet appearances, Ryan and Eva had almost disappeared from public view. That silence led to endless speculation. Some tabloids claimed they had quietly broken up. Others insisted they were secretly engaged. Fans were left guessing because the couple refused to confirm or deny almost anything. Then came a surprise that caught nearly everyone off guard. Reports emerged that Eva Mendes was expecting the couple's first child. For many people, the news felt almost unbelievable. How had one of Hollywood's most recognizable actresses managed to keep such a major life event private for so long? In an era where paparazzi seemed capable of documenting every celebrity coffee run, the fact that Ryan and Eva had protected such personal news until late in the pregnancy felt almost impossible. Entertainment outlets quickly admitted that the couple had accomplished something few celebrities ever manage. They had kept one of the biggest moments of their lives almost entirely out of the spotlight. In September 2014, they welcomed their first daughter, Esmeralda Amada Gosling. But instead of celebrating with magazine exclusives or introducing their newborn through a high-profile interview, they simply stayed quiet. There were no carefully arranged family photo shoots, no television special, no social media campaign documenting every milestone. Ryan and Eva continued doing exactly what they had done since the beginning of their relationship, protecting the parts of life they believed belonged only to them. 2 years later, history repeated itself. In 2016, the couple welcomed their second daughter, Amada Lee Gosling. Once again, there had been very little public attention leading up to the birth. Fans were surprised, the media scrambled for details, and Hollywood found itself asking the same question it had been asking for years. How do they keep getting away with this? As their family grew, so did the curiosity surrounding Eva's career. Throughout the early 2000s, she had been one of Hollywood's busiest actresses, appearing in blockbuster films, comedies, action movies, and dramas. Then, almost unexpectedly, her acting roles became increasingly rare. Before long, many fans began wondering whether she had quietly retired from Hollywood altogether. The internet immediately started creating its own explanations. Some claimed Ryan wanted her to stop acting. Others suggested the couple had moved away from Hollywood because of relationship problems. There were even rumors that Eva had completely lost interest in the entertainment industry. But when Eva eventually addressed those conversations in public interviews and on social media, her explanation was remarkably simple. She wanted to be present for her children. Rather than describing it as a sacrifice forced upon her, Eva explained that becoming a mother changed what mattered most. She often spoke about how raising her daughters became her biggest priority and that stepping away from acting was a personal choice she felt comfortable making. While she remained active through business ventures and creative projects, family had become the center of her life. Ryan, meanwhile, experienced a transformation that many fans noticed during interviews. The actor who had once spoken almost exclusively about films and directing began sharing small but meaningful stories about fatherhood. He never revealed intimate family details, but whenever interviewers asked about his daughters, his entire demeanor seemed to change. He smiled more. He laughed more. It became clear that behind the Hollywood image of one of cinema's biggest stars was someone who genuinely embraced being a father. In one interview after another, Ryan described fatherhood as the most rewarding chapter of his life. He even admitted that many of the decisions he made professionally were now influenced by one simple question: how would this affect his family? It was a side of Ryan Gosling that audiences had rarely seen before. And yet, despite occasionally opening the door just enough to share how much his family meant to him, both he and Eva continued protecting the one thing Hollywood desperately wanted: a closer look inside their private world. Ironically, the harder they worked to keep that world private, the more admired they became. Because while countless celebrity couples struggled under the pressure of constant public attention, Ryan and Eva seemed to have discovered something that many others couldn't. They had figured out how to make fame part of their careers, without allowing it to take over their lives. But even after more than a decade together, one question still refused to go away. Why were they so determined to stay out of the spotlight when nearly every other celebrity couple embraced it? The answer, according to Eva herself, would finally give fans a rare glimpse into the philosophy that had quietly shaped one of Hollywood's most successful relationships. After more than a decade together, one question continued following Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes everywhere they went. Why were they so private? For years, fans had created countless theories. Some believed they were trying to avoid paparazzi. Others assumed they simply didn't enjoy Hollywood events. A few even suggested that keeping their relationship hidden somehow made it stronger. But unlike many celebrity couples who eventually reveal everything through memoirs or exclusive interviews, Ryan and Eva rarely felt the need to explain themselves. Then, little by little, Eva began giving fans small but meaningful answers. During interviews and through occasional responses on social media, she explained that privacy wasn't about being secretive, it was about creating boundaries. She had spent enough years in Hollywood to understand that once every personal moment becomes public, it's almost impossible to take it back. Protecting her family wasn't a publicity strategy. It was simply the life she wanted for herself, Ryan, and their daughters. One of her comments resonated with fans around the world. Eva explained that she and Ryan had made an unspoken decision to keep their children away from the spotlight until they were old enough to make those choices for themselves. In an era where celebrity kids often grow up surrounded by cameras and social media attention, many people admired the couple for putting their daughter's privacy ahead of public curiosity. Ryan shared a similar perspective, although he spoke about it far less often. Whenever interviewers asked about Eva, his answers were usually short, respectful, and filled with admiration. He never tried to turn their relationship into headlines. Instead, he focused on how much he appreciated having a partner who understood the pressures of Hollywood while also helping create a normal family life away from movie sets and award shows. One of the most memorable moments came while Ryan was accepting his Golden Globe Award for La La Land in 2017. Standing on one of the biggest stages in Hollywood, he took a moment to publicly thank Eva. He spoke about how, while he was filming and promoting the movie, she had been raising their daughters, supporting her brother during his battle with cancer, and holding the family together behind the scenes. It was one of the rare occasions where Ryan openly spoke about her in front of millions of viewers, and the heartfelt tribute immediately became one of the ceremony's most talked about moments. For many fans, that brief speech revealed more about their relationship than years of tabloid speculation ever could. The years that followed brought another wave of headlines, not because of scandals or public arguments, but because of one simple question: were they actually married? For a long time, neither Ryan nor Eva addressed the rumors directly. Entertainment magazines continued referring to them as longtime partners, while social media users constantly debated whether they had secretly tied the knot. Then, in 2022, Eva casually referred to Ryan as "my husband" during an interview, instantly sending celebrity news outlets into overdrive. Had they secretly married? Was it simply a personal way of describing their relationship? The couple never turned the moment into a grand announcement, leaving fans with the same quiet mystery that had surrounded them from the very beginning. And perhaps that was the point. Not every milestone needed a press release. Not every chapter of their lives needed to become public entertainment. While Hollywood often rewards celebrities for constantly sharing their personal lives, Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes built something remarkably different. They showed that it was still possible to have enormously successful careers while keeping the people you love away from the cameras. Over the years, Ryan continued starring in blockbuster films like Blade Runner 2049, First Man, The Gray Man, and the global phenomenon Barbie, proving that audiences remained just as interested in his work without knowing every detail about his private life. Eva, meanwhile, focused on motherhood, business ventures, children's books, and projects that allowed her to spend more time with her family, embracing a life that looked very different from the traditional Hollywood path. Looking back today, it's almost remarkable how many predictions turned out to be wrong. When the first Disneyland photos appeared in 2011, countless people dismissed the relationship as another short-lived Hollywood romance. Some believed the attention surrounding the place beyond the pines would eventually fade, taking their relationship with it. Others assumed the constant media pressure would become too much. Instead, year after year, Ryan and Eva quietly proved everyone wrong. They didn't need matching Instagram posts to convince the world they were happy. They didn't need weekly paparazzi walks. They didn't need reality shows, exclusive magazine deals, or carefully planned publicity campaigns. What they built wasn't based on public attention. It was built away from it. And maybe that's exactly why it lasted. In a world where celebrity relationships often feel like they exist for the cameras, Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes chose something much simpler. They let their work remain public, while keeping the most meaningful parts of their lives private. Ironically, by sharing less than almost every other Hollywood couple, they gave people something far more valuable, a reminder that not every love story needs an audience to succeed. Sometimes the strongest relationships are the ones the world sees the least. If you enjoyed uncovering the real story behind one of Hollywood's most private celebrity couples, make sure to subscribe to Fame Wire. Every week, we go beyond the headlines to explore the relationships, controversies, careers, and untold moments that shaped the biggest names in entertainment. Until next time, stay curious, because in Hollywood, there's always another story waiting behind the spotlight.